Hey everyone, so today I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about this anxiety stuff and how to unravel anxiety. And this is part one because it's been so, I am so thankful and so honored that several of you have been sending these posts about being anxious about losing a job and not knowing what's going to be your next step, being anxious period, and having to maybe even go back to medications and so forth and so on. And by the way, even though I absolutely try to stay away from medication so many times, it is extremely helpful for us on the short term. So like, for example, just right now, because of this issue that I had, this nerve issue that I had, I was given magnesium, I was given vitamin B100 complex, but for the night I was given a medication, and this particular medication also had this really interesting side effect of having like a calming effect on me. So I would wake up in the morning and I was like, okay, this is a time for me to meditate, but at the same time I was like, I don't seem to need the meditation because I have that, but at the same time, think about it, medications also have the side effects. So long story short, let's just start to take apart this whole anxiety thing, because trust me, being a perfectionist, being a daughter of two pretty solid, strong parents, being part of this line of heritage in Hungary, that being the proud, and we're supposed to be maintaining this and the other thing, and we're supposed to be number one, and we're supposed to all this stuff, that all puts so much pressure on me as well as anybody else. So that creates, that pressure creates the anxiety. How does that pressure create the anxiety? It creates the anxiety by creating a story around a life event. So what I wanted to talk to you about a little bit today is that whenever you experience the anxiety, that when your heart starts to palpitate, when you feel like it's something, there's a knot in your stomach, when you feel your entire, like your neck muscles, like that, you have a physical and not just emotional response, but a very strong physical response. What causes this? And really, it is not the event that you are experiencing that's causing it. So many of the studies that have been done, like some of the most interesting studies, that I am a bit of a brain research buff, right? So, and if you didn't know, I am a bit of a brain research buff. And it's so funny because I barely passed elementary school, but as I have grown older, I realized how much I really love research, to read it, to use it, to try to interpret it and try to translate it and transcribe it to layman's terminology. And one of the biggest things that I found, which was absolutely amazing to me, is that you would have identical twins, like identical, same eggs, same everything, identical twins, and one of the twin would get ill, maybe in early mid-70s, maybe even having some kind of a memory issue, like an Alzheimer's, and the other twin, who experienced the same exact childhood, have absolutely no problems, and she ends up actually even, and this is an actual situation also, this was a person that I actually know, that she ends up actually taking care of her sister, who happens to have the Alzheimer's, while this particular person is healthy as healthy can be, reaching, I think closer to 90 now, and no problems. So what happens? Because then we, quote unquote, we can't blame childhood, because they both have the same parents, so, and the same situation, and they were the same age group, so the events in the family was the same. So what changed? What was the differentiation? What happened that made one person have some kind of response to life in one way and the other doesn't, when they have the same genetic background, right? So it's very simple. It really is so simple. And I'm experiencing this now every single day with my own life. When something happens to us, it is not the event, it is how we interpret that event. So in my case, for example, what's happening right now, it's how do I interpret this event? Because I could interpret this event as, okay, this is part of life. This is part of, even 4 years ago when something happened to me at school, at the university, I could have interpreted it in a very, very loose, simple, oh, no big deal, not a problem type of a way. Which, by the way, a lot of Hungarians are like that. Oh, we got time for that. We don't worry about it. But I interpret it like, oh, God, I can't believe this happened to me. I can't believe people, somebody would be, putting a knife in my back and all this stuff. How do we interpret the situation, and what story do we make and write and mostly think about that situation? Is going to make that same life event that for somebody else is no big deal, for us is the end of the world. And the funny thing is that you could have somebody, you could have something that's totally not a big deal in your work situation, and something happens to you in your family situation, with your husband, spouse, whatever, with your children, and you blow it out of proportion. And not because you're meaning to, it's just because immediately some thought process starts to go. And that thought process creates this story around the life situation, which was really no big deal. So this is something I would like you to do, if you can, is that literally, like, just for next 24 hours. I mean, I'm coming on live tomorrow again, if all goes well, right? For the next 24 hours, just think about this. Something that's causing you kaboom, like your heart just wrenches, like it's just like something happens in there, or you suddenly feel a knot in your stomach, or you just feel that the pressure is going up in your head about something. What is the story you're telling yourself about that situation? And we'll go to step number 2 tomorrow. I'm not gonna give you step number 2. So today, what I want you to do the next 24 hours is just to recognize that there was a moment that just literally took you out of your balance. You created a story around it. And then tomorrow, we're gonna ravel back in there and we're gonna figure it out. What did you do with that story? Okay? What did you do with that life situation? And I don't think this is something that you can hear enough in our life. Like, again, when we went to the doctor yesterday, right? I hear a story. I hear, a diagnosis. I hear something, even regarding my own neck. I hear the potential of having some kind of a procedure having to be done because of, having a bulging disc on my neck and all those things. I hear some diagnosis. Question is, what story do I make out of that diagnosis? Do you understand that? I know you understand that. So what story do we make out of that diagnosis? This is the culprit. It's not the life event. It's not the diagnosis. It's not the fact that we lost a job. It's not the fact that we, that we were not rehired for something. It's not the fact that on the stock market we lost, maybe 2/3 of our stocks. That's not the problem. The problem is, what story do we make out of what just happened? You understand, please? Because this is exactly where I'm going wrong, and I am pretty darn sure that's 99% of us going wrong with this and create the anxiety and create all these problems for ourselves, okay? Because I know I do. So if I do, I'm sure that I am not a unique human part of the human species, okay? So let's just investigate this. Let's look at it for the next 24 hours. When something happens to us, what kind of story are we making around it? So like right now, having the bulge in disc, having the issues with the neck, having all this, stuff down on my left arm, and literally, getting my thumb so numb, the thumb and the forefinger so numb that I can actually drop like plates and stuff like that. But what story do I make out of it? That's going to be the $1,000,000 question. All right, everyone. So let's start with that. I'll see you tomorrow and enjoy the evening. And tonight I am back in a choir practice, which is going to be amazing to have choir practice online. I can't wait to do that. So I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so very much for watching, and just ask me your questions, because this came actually from 2 different people, one from a loss of a job, one from another particular situation. So this is something that just got me thinking, is that this is how you guys do it. You help me so much, because by you asking these questions, you remind me of the gosh darn stories that I create for myself, and therefore create all this drama around myself. It's just life. It's just life. All right, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.